middle. He's in! Utah leads. Daniels for the win. Caught! It's gone! LSU does it! Mason Taylor!
The 4th of July is past us, and we are doing the Conference USA the day after. Now, this is thanks to a TikTok commenter that wanted Liberty done. I told him, hey, I'm doing the G5 by conferences, but to get Liberty out of the way, I'll make sure to do Conference USA up next. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Check out the other videos. Check out the playlist up here. And again, if you guys see it right down here, that's my TikTok right here. Bash's CFB show on TikTok. That's also the name of the podcast. And in case you're wondering, that's the name on YouTube, Bash's CFB show. All right, we're going to get into this by talking about the FIU Panthers first. A disastrous season last year. They're coming back here with Mike McIntyre as the coach. Now, I like Coach Mike McIntyre. They do not have a whole lot of talent. Grayson James going to be the quarterback here. Their offense was absolutely abysmal last year, and they're one of the worst teams in all of Power 5 football, in my opinion. And their schedule is not the easiest. I think this Conference USA, while it's a little bit messy, it is better than a lot of people think. Overall, I'm going to have FIU going 1-11, 0-8. I just want them to prove me wrong. I'm willing to be completely wrong about them. I'd be very happy if they turn it around and go 8-4 or something like that. And with these G5s, you just never know because you can't look at recruiting rankings or anything like that as an indication of, hey, they got great things coming in the future. It's either you trust the process or you don't, and then you look at how much experience they have. At least with FIU, they have some experience, but I think they lack the talent, and I think they lack the depth to be able to go the duration of the season. Now, we are going to talk about Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State, first year into the Conference USA, and the last few years especially, they haven't been a fantastic team in the FCS, but they've been pretty good. Rich Rod out there with Zarek Cooper past couple of years. I think this Jacksonville State team, they will be able to transition in Alabama. We've seen South Alabama come up and actually have some success last year, but it took South Alabama some time. I don't think Jacksonville State has the talent to immediately, impact the landscape of G5 football, kind of like App State did. I'm going to have Jacksonville State sitting at 4-8 this season with a 2-6 record. Next up, and by the way, I am going alphabetically if it's hard to follow, so make sure you guys are able to keep up in that way. But we got the Liberty Flames. Liberty with some good years under Hugh Freeze. Last year, kind of a disappointment, but they bring in Jamie Chadwell, who comes in with an experienced roster. Noah Frith, a wide receiver, Reese Smith, another wideout that's going to be really good, CJ Daniels, EJ Smoot. And then they have Vaughn Blue, a star freshman tailback who's probably going to get some playing time early, along with Quentin Cooley and James Jointer. And then at quarterback, who's it going to be? Jonathan Bennett, Caden Salter personally, and then Trey Lowe. Salter personally is my favorite. I think he's going to run this system very well. They are less experienced on defense. Their back seven is pretty solid, but they're probably going to have to start some underclassmen in the front four. So I think they could allow a lot of points, and I think that could be dangerous if they run into a team like Western Kentucky or even an MTSU who slings the ball, or an NMSU, which they will run into them, but an NMSU who runs the ball, pounds it. Overall, though, I think Liberty has a ton of talent, a workable schedule, a great out-of-conference for them to work. 11-1 with a 7-1 record is what I have for the Liberty Flames. All right, moving on. Louisiana Tech. Now, a lot of people might be sleeping on the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs here because of the fact that they were really, really bad last year. Now they have Hank Bachmeier coming in. He's definitely going to be the starter. Not too many people are huge fans of his, but I do think Marcus Crosby and Jarvis Thornton at running back can definitely help them out. And I do trust the Sonny Cumbie system with the air raid, spreading it out to Smoke Harris, Cyrus Allen, and Kyle Maxwell. And Cyrus Allen, a second-year player that flashes as a freshman. I think that Louisiana Tech's going to improve. I got them at 5-7. 3-5 in conference. That's a little bit of a gamble right there. I'm willing to roll the dice, and I'm willing to be way off about all of this, especially with a new look Conference USA we have no idea about. So moving on to MTSU, all right, Middle Tennessee State. Guess who's still there? Rick Stockstill. He's still there. His son Brent, quarterback a few years back. You have Nick Vadiato, probably going to be the starter there. No experience as Cade Cunningham. What was his first name? Cunningham leaves. I forget his first name, so pardon me for that. But regardless, and they have a kid, by the way, that's like the 5th string or 4th string quarterback named Stone Frost. I wish he would be the starter because that's a sick name, Stone Frost. But Frank Peasant is the running back there with Terry Wilkins. I think they have a pretty good running back core. I think they have a lot of weapons, but a lot of inexperience. I could see a roller coaster ride for the long-term head coach Rick Stockstill. Overall, I have MTSU going 6-6. Moving on, NMSU. They made a bowl game last year, and they looked impressive in said bowl game last year. Jerry Kill is building the right things, and they hit the portal pretty hard. I do think they could have, and by the way, they have a 13th game because they go to Hawaii. I think that this team could be fun. Cordell David, pardon me, is a really, really talented player to watch out for here. Diego Pavia is a really solid running or quarterback. I don't know why I said that. And then they have Eli Stowers coming in as well. Jamani Jones and Star Thomas are also going to run the ball very well, and they'll jam the ball down people's throats. I think this is going to be a dangerous team, a sleeper team in Conference USA. I'm going a little bit conservative with this pick, 7-6, but they could definitely surpass 7-6 for sure. Pardon the background noise, by the way. I know it's really loud up there, but all right, we got Sam Houston up next. The second of the new additions to the FBS here. Now, Keegan Shoemaker likely going to be the starter. Grant Gunnell, who's at his fourth stop, trip up right there. And then Xavier Ward, who could be a really good player. Quavez Humphreys, a guy I really like as well at wide receiver. I think that 7-5, 6-2 in conference, very reasonable. They redshirted a bunch of players for this jump from a couple of years ago. They're going to be a solid team. They're going to be dangerous, and they're going to be at the top half of the conference. Finally, we got 2 more left, pardon me. Dana Demel brings back Gavin Hardison. It's not Grant Hardison, it's Gavin Hardison. And then they're going to run the ball down people's throats. Deion Hankins is back. Mike Franklin is here. Julian Lopez, the fullback, is a true fullback because they run a lot of I form. I really like what Dana Demel does. It's similar to what New Mexico State does. I think they're going to be a tough team this year as well. I think they're right in the middle of the pack, though. I don't think they have the top-end talent, I should say. So I'm going to go with UTEP at 6-6. 5-3 in conference. Finally, talk about slinging the rock. You have head coach here at Western Kentucky, Tyson Helton, going to have Austin Reed back, going to have his wide receivers out there. You're going to start, of course, off with Blue Smith, redshirt senior. Michael Matheson is back. Malachi Corley is looking to take a third-year jump in the system. Jimmy Holiday, a dangerous player. Davian Irvin Poindexter is a really good running back. River Helms, can he step up at tight end? These are highlighting the skill positions right here. I think this Western Kentucky team, as they have a win total, I believe, of 8.5 or something like that, round there is probably accurate. 8-4, 6-2 in conference. Is that good enough to make Conference USA championship? Well, if you remember, we had Sam Houston at 6-2, Western Kentucky 6-2, and of course Liberty at 7-1. I think Western Kentucky is going to end up going to the Conference USA championship, of course, because Sam Houston, ineligible. I can't remember if I had Sam Houston beating them or not. I forget who I had win that game, but it does not matter. at the end of the day, because I do have Western Kentucky at 8-4, 6-2 in conference. And I'm going to go conservative and say Liberty is your Conference USA champions at the end of the day. So there's my first conference championship pick. Liberty, the home team, wins against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. So with that being said, that was the Conference USA preview. Shorter, brief, I know. The other ones are going to be a little bit longer, of course, because there's more teams, but that's why I wanted to keep it brief. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a nice day.